V-Rising has sponsored this video, and they let me poke around in the full 1.0 release of the game, which adds a massive amount of new content. Does that mean the V-Rising has finally V-risen? Well, this update adds new weapon types, a new region, new gameplay mechanics, tons of quality of life tweaks, brutal difficulty, controller support, and a big final boss that I think you might have heard of before. So now you progress from Act 1, do all those bosses, into Act 2, all of those, into Act 3, through to Act 4, with Draculin now taunting the quality of your build right there at the top of the food chain. The progression through all that can be treated as a purely single-player action RPG, a full co-op base builder with just your buddies, or a hardcore PvP survival game against an entire server. I'll throw a link down in the video description to get V-Rising on Steam. The 1.0 update and the Castlevania crossover event are live right now. Oh, and PlayStation humans, V-Rising is coming soonish to your PS5. Now let's begin. I'm Alex, and here are some of the most important new things you need to take advantage of in V-Rising 1.0. An entirely new late-game event system has been added, over in the new area of the map called the Ruins of Mortium. To make the most out of this area, you'll want to get your castle up to level 3, which unlocks the Eye of Mortium. Once you have that placed, the right side of the screen and your map will indicate when rift incursions are starting over in the ruins. Tier 1 rifts are intended for characters around level 57, and Tier 2 are intended for level 80 and up. You can attempt any of those at any level if you're feeling brave. When you get over to one of those active rifts, you'll need to clear out enemy groups that are protecting these floating red crystals. What are they trying to achieve with floating red crystals? Let's not find out. Once enough of those are broken, the rift boss will appear, which will spawn as a modified version of one of the other V-Bloods. Completing that will give you a big payout of greater Stygian shards for Tier 2 rifts, or basic Stygian shards for a Tier 1. You can spend those at the Altar of Stygian Awakening for permanent passive buffs, or take them to the new vendors over in the ruins. Those guys will sell you special ancestral weapons that will need to be repaired before you use them at the Ancestral Forge. The Ancestral Forge also has an entirely new feature that lets you increase the level of your legendary weapons. That way you can keep using the ones you like by improving their base stats as you progress. The Whip is a brand new weapon type that's been summoned straight from the legendary Castlevania series.
Witness a hunter's technique!
The reach of the basic attack goes pretty far, and the Whip's whip will damage multiple enemies it passes through. Also, the tip of the whip has a small AoE effect to it, which can be used as a sweet spot for its larger impact point. The Whip Twirl's special ability jumps you forward and inflicts a knockback and a snare. The Entangling Whip is more pinpointed, inflicting the Entangled effect. That can hit multiple enemies if you line them up. Both of those specials help to keep your victim at a distance, so you can safely tickle them with the tip of your whip. Now to unlock the whip, you're going to need to find the brand new V-Blood, Simon Belmont, the Master Vampire Hunter. Good luck. He's a high-level and very challenging guy to take on, but you'll find him confidently walking the roads of the farmlands. What makes the Simon fight extra difficult is this beam attack he does that will quickly melt you, and he regenerates a huge amount of health during it. Either rotate around with the beams and apply as much DPS pressure as you can, or fight him on an elevation and use the earth itself to block those beams. You can now uproot and move your whole castle from one side of the map all the way to the other, while taking your entire stash along with it. Here I tested this out on a little baby castle I had at this location, but I'm going to move the thing over to this plot in the north. Once you get over to that spot where you want your castle moved to, make sure to take some time and clear out the trees and rocks beforehand. Then open the build menu and place a castle relocation heart, which just costs a bit of blood essence. Then you'll have to manually place down 100% of every piece of the castle you're moving. So this is the perfect time to change up and improve your layout, since it's not a one-to-one structural move. Once you get all the pieces placed back down, you can finalize the castle. Or if you're having second thoughts about the entire process, you can disconnect the castle to keep the original unaffected. This system is really useful since you can progress your castle alongside your character, moving it into the region of the map you're currently spending the most time in. The Longbow has been added to the weapon roster. A short pullback does a quick shot at lower damage, a medium pullback does a slightly harder hit, and a full drawback inflicts maximum damage. Also, a full-powered shot will pierce multiple targets, so you're encouraged to position yourself where enemies are stacked up gleefully in a row. Each hit with the bow will give you a charge of the focus buff up to 3 stacks, which are consumed to enhance the weapon's special abilities. You can instantly gain 3 stacks of focus if you're able to nail 3 targets with that piercing basic attack. The multi-shot ability will shoot out 1 additional arrow for each stack of focus, outward in a cone in front of you. The guided arrow inflicts a fading snare and bounces back and forth through the target more times the higher the focus. If there's units behind the enemy, that will pierce through them instead. I also found the bow to be surprisingly useful on horseback if you practice lining up shots while horse drifting to keep enemies out of reach. A horse with a higher rotation speed will be better suited for this. Yes, horses come in different rotation speeds. Now, to be able to craft the longbow weapon type, you'll need to find and take down the level 30 V-Blood Lydia the Chaos Archer, which you'll find roaming around the Fairbane Woods. The spell system has been drastically changed, now letting you unlock spells in the order that you prefer. Now taking down a V-Blood boss will net you an elemental-specific spell point of Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3. A Tier 1 point lets you unlock any on this side, Tier 2 any on that side, and Tier 3 one of the 2 ultimate abilities of that element. This gives you more flexibility with your build, and you're able to adjust it towards your preferred playstyle. At the Altar of Recollection, you can completely reset the spell choices for each element as well. This doesn't cost anything to reset, so feel free to mess up. There's a brand new form you can unlock now, the Spider. Changing into a spider lets you scutter around like you would assume, but it also has the ability to dig and stay underground. This lets you create your own dynamic shade spot no matter where you are. Useful for traveling right through those horrific sunshine-drenched areas. Another bonus, you become good pals with the arachnid community, which let you pass by unscathed. To unlock the spider form, you'll need to find the Spider Queen that resides up north in the Cursed Forest. You can now build advanced versions of the refinement stations that help to streamline the crafting process. The advanced stations not only have extra recipes to craft, but they're also faster than their basic counterparts. Like here, the regular furnace takes 1 minute 36 seconds to make 1 iron ingot, whereas the advanced furnace churns out that same ingot in just 35 seconds. There's new enemy types over in the Ruins of Mortium, which means new blood to suck. These new creatures will give you the Draculin blood type that improves your movement speed at night, increases damage to low HP targets, increases healing of the blood mend, and gives an extra charge of bite with some health regain. That'll let you do the bite finisher attack back to back without needing to wait on the cooldown. Your couch is going to love this one, because now you can play V-Rising with a controller. The HUD is entirely reworked when you're using a controller, and you're able to easily cast and aim every attack without a bunch of weird button combos. Getting used to the top face button snapping the camera behind you has a small learning curve to it, but you could also just hold that top face button and use the left and right triggers to pan the camera around manually, kind of like a mouse. Something new to keep an eye out for while you're on the road are cargo travelers. Pretty simple in concept. If you see one, slaughter everyone involved. Then you can crack into the container it was carrying, which is usually filled with a plethora of useful stuff. You can now start a server or a private game with a higher difficulty modifier called Brutal Mode. Wait, try that again.
Brutal Mode.
This increases the overall challenge, but with increased rewards. On the menu screen, you can see exactly what this mode is applying, plus 25% to the loot modifier, negative 50% to durability loss, regular enemies get 40% increased damage, and V-Blood bosses get 25% extra health, 75% increased damage, and spawn 3 levels higher. Oof. There's new options for customizing your armor and your overall look. This drop up menu lets you easily swap to different color palettes for each individual piece of armor. There's also a cosmetic slot on the left of that tab, which lets you apply a visual armor to help beautify your V. Okay, those were just some of the big changes in the 1.0 update, but there's way more stuff than just that. There's new fights added to the older areas, the overall lighting system has been improved, there's new Apex legendary weapons, new armor sets, a new achievement system, a music player for your castle, new Castlevania themed cosmetics, and tons of new items to slap all over your castle. This is actually, I'm not just saying it, the perfect time to start V-Rising since the 1.0 update just went live, and you can use that link I put down in the video description to grab it on Steam. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex. Oh, and also thanks to Stunlock for sponsoring the video today. I'll see you next time.